Beloved Madridistas, welcome back to the channel. Listen, today, instead of doing just a kind of normal preview ahead of the Las Palmas match, I thought we need to have a much more important, broader discussion, okay? Look, sometimes in life, you need to have uncomfortable conversations with people you love, right? Your children, your woman, your partner, or whatever. And as much as you love them, you sometimes have to acknowledge painful truths. And I think we need to have one of those conversations today. Look, I don't know what prompted it. This could be driven by a lot of the comments you guys make in the comment section, some of the conversations I hear around here in Madrid. But, it kind of all came together. There's something in finance called the mosaic theory, which is used a lot in insider trading cases. The mosaic theory means that sometimes you have a lot of information in front of you, a lot of little pieces of a puzzle, but you can't quite see the full picture. And then there's that one little piece that is nothing in and of itself, but when you put it in, you finally see the picture. So I don't know what prompted this, but I do think we need to have a sort of honest discussion about, where we are as a squad, how we got here, and what we need to do, because, there are issues that we need to address. So, look, let's have a bigger discussion about the squad ahead of the Las Palmas match, and I'd love to hear your input, so please participate in the comment section. But let's have this discussion, all right? Let's get started. All right, Madridistas, welcome back. Okay, let's talk about kind of where we are and how we got here. Look, I've said on many occasions on this channel, we have an absolutely exceptional squad. We have unbelievable talent. The depth, I think, is something just absolutely outrageous. I can't remember last time we had so much depth of talent, and it really is exciting and wonderful to see. And listen, I'm a massive fan of Florentino Perez. I think he's the most intelligent man in football. I think one of the most intelligent, businessmen that I've followed in my lifetime, and I have incredible respect and gratitude for everything that he's done for the club. But let's be honest about kind of where we are, okay, and how we got here. Look, we have an incredible amount of talent, but let's be serious about how these players got here, okay? The incredible talent that we have is not here because there was a very careful planning tactically of, we need to strengthen this piece and we need to strengthen that piece. It really wasn't done that way. And we have to be honest about this, okay? The truth is that this was done a little bit capriciously, okay? Because, think of Enric. Okay, there's an incredible young talent in Brazil, the best we've seen in decades. Get him, okay? We must have him. Mbappe. Probably pound for pound the best player in the world. We must have him. Get him. We must have him. He's the best. He must be at Real Madrid. There's a prodigy in Turkey, a young kid called Arda Güler. Get him. We must have him because we must have the best. This is a little bit how this came together, and we have to admit that it's a little bit, the behavior of kind of a capricious billionaire. I mean, sometimes people buy things because they can. I mean, I know people like this. They want to have the best of the best, and they get it just because they can. And I think that we have to admit that there was an element of capriciousness in the way that this team was assembled, and it really wasn't by tactical design. It was just, accumulate the best talent because we're Real Madrid and we want the best talent. But we have to be honest about what the result of that is. And the truth is, we have two players too many up front, and this is just a fact. And we have one player too few in the back, and this is just a fact. And we need to admit this, and we need to acknowledge this. And the result is that we're now, the result is that you're playing players out of position, and we have to admit this. I love Mbappe, okay, but he's playing a number 9 position. He can do it. Of course he can do it, but we know that's not his natural position, and that's not where he really, the best football he's ever played has been, I've seen heat maps of this, is a little bit towards the left, and that is just a fact, and we have to admit it. We're forcing players, we have to admit it. Rodrigo loves to play on the left. We play him on the right, but he's a better player on the left. We have the result of this kind of capricious hodgepodge is that we have players playing at a position. We have players on the bench that deserve to play because they're world class, and they can potentially become unhappy. So we need to admit that there is a lack of balance in this squad, and we have to admit that there was not a lot of intelligent design behind this other than just the want of the best of the best. But the fact is, players like Mbappe, Rodrigo, Brahim and Arda are going to get tired of sitting on the bench. Rodrigo is sort of stuck on the right, and Mbappe stuck in the middle, and these are real problems. So, look, what should we do about this? Okay, now, Ancelotti, in an interview a few days ago, very clever, by the way, typical sort of sharp Milanese mind, he very diplomatically said, look, the players need to step up and say when they're tired. He says it never happens. I've never seen it in football, but our players need to admit when they're tired. And this had to do with taking Vini out in the 85th minute the other day because he was pissed off that he was being taken off the pitch. But Ancelotti felt he was tired. But what Ancelotti is trying to do is to say, we need to rotate. We need to rotate a lot. And I don't care who you are, you're going to have to get used to sitting on the bench and rotating. This is why he mentioned the holiday issue the other day. He talked about giving people 1 week holidays in the middle of the season, which is something that's never been done. But I think because he's trying to address the issue that I'm talking about. So he mentioned the holiday thing because he knows he needs to rotate. He mentioned the fatigue thing because he knows he needs to get in the player's head that they need to rotate and they have to get used to sitting on the bench. So that is one solution, which is just to rotate and hope that the players don't get too upset. But of course that is a risk. The second thing obviously is a possible sale, and none of us want to see anybody leave because I love every single player in the squad, and I wouldn't want anyone to leave. But you could make a very powerful argument for selling one or two players in the forward positions, and I think we need to be honest with that. And I wouldn't consider it a totally irrational thing to do. I wouldn't want to because I love Rodrigo and Brahim, and I love everybody, but we have to admit that it would not be a crazy thing to do. And then the third possible solution to all of this is that maybe the flow of life solves it for us. Maybe there'll be enough injuries that everybody gets to play enough. I mean, that's another possibility. It would be kind of unfortunate, but it's a twist of fate that could ironically work in our favor. But we do have to admit, and the bottom line is that this is a very imbalanced hodgepodge, and it's going to be very difficult to manage. And look, we have to acknowledge it. Okay, now I'm very, very hopeful and optimistic because at the end of the day, talent is talent, and talent wins matches. But we have to admit that the way this was done was, maybe not tactically the smartest thing in the world, and that it does generate issues that are going to be difficult to manage. But, I just think that we needed to have this very honest conversation, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section. But it just kind of came to me that, look, this is messy. This is really, really messy, and we can't lie about it anymore. I mean, we can't. The truth is, I love all the players. I love the club. Nobody wants to see Real Madrid lift trophies more than me. But this is messy, and it's going to be hard to manage. But listen, I just want to share my thoughts with you. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. I will definitely come back to you after the Las Palmas match, where I would expect rotations there too. I mean, don't be surprised to see Arda and Brahim play because maybe even Enric, because we do absolutely need rotations. But anyway, I just want to share those thoughts with you. Thanks for joining me as always. Let me know your thoughts. I'll see you in the next video. And as always, a la Madrid.